It is Thursday, the 24th day of 2022. And as has been mostly constant for the case, been the case, I should say, for at least the last, 75 years or so, Russia is at it again. This time it's the stalemate over two regions of neighboring Ukraine, which Vlad Putin has deemed to be entirely Russian. It's interesting. I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that I find these egotistical rulers to be interesting studies. But in this particular case, in most particular cases, Putin is an interesting cat, a different sort of cat. He seems to be clever enough to know how to employ folks that'll do his bidding and generally make a menace out of what could probably be a pretty nice country for the most part. Who knows? Because it's never been, right? It's never been like a first world country, right? Tons of resources, tons of people. It should be better. However, it's not. It's only better for the top, 0.00001%. And the Russian people, they don't know any better for the most part because he's got a pretty good lid on outside information. Feeds them a steady diet of classic propaganda. This time, though, he's managed to somehow convince a rather substantial portion of the American public and the American media that he's not really a bad guy, but that it's Joe Biden and the Democrats' fault for all of this. Well, I mean, of course it is. It's the prevailing conversation because the Democrats are so bad at just, deflecting bullshit. Like they just can't do it. It's impossible. They're so busy about just being right and righteous that they can't come out and be like, hey, fuck you. Like you're full of shit. Tucker Carlson the other night is on Fox News and basically deifying Putin, having to wipe his chin clean after mentally filleting him throughout the course of his show. So what we're doing is we're making things infinitely easier for Putin because Joe and the Dems don't want to start a war, which is what most rational, forward-thinking people want. And the other side seems to think that starting one will somehow be beneficial for America. It's batshit crazy logic. It really is. And it's that kind of logic that'll give Putin a big head and make him do something even crazier than just, take a couple of provinces of Ukraine, which is probably what Tucker wants. And fuck, I hate politics. I fucking hate them. That's all right here, right now, on Complaints and Observations.
Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet. With a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity. Guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
Seriously, I hate fucking politics. And it's just getting worse. And the problem is it's the kind of thing that it provides content. So you talk about it. And it pains me to no end that it's relevant content, which is the other problem. It's just that I fucking hate it. I can't stand it. Yet here I am talking about it way too much. I got to put a cap on it. I have to because it eats away at just same thing. Like I have to put a cap on like spending so much time on social media because I do. I spend too much time on there. gotta put a fucking cap on it. I don't know how, but I don't know. But I mean, with politics, it's an entirely no-win situation these days, because saying the wrong thing to the wrong person can make shit go off the rails, and not because you're making a coherent argument, or not because your points are being sort of I don't know, taken, not taken out of context, but it's just that some people are um, so into their beliefs that they won't hear the other side. So, case in point, Tuesday night I had drinks with a couple of old chums from my past employer. All in all, an excellent evening. We regaled each other with stories of past coworkers, various goings on with this one and that one, remembering other times gone by. It was a much needed visit. It was fun. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Good conversation. It was good adult male conversation. I don't know why I found that so funny. Um, However, at one point in the evening, a story was shared about a friend of one of my friends here going completely bonkers over a politically charged social media debate. And in the end, it turns out that this dildo started making threats, veiled or otherwise, in response to other threats, veiled or otherwise, that was all started with a differing political opinion. Because you can never be wrong in these discussions. Instead of just sort of I don't want to say taking an L, because it's not entirely accurate, but maybe it is. I don't know. It's just, what benefit is there to your life if you disagree with somebody's political opinion? Or what negative impact on your life is caused by someone's political opinion? Nothing. It's just how you respond to it is the part that really fucks with you. If you respond to it in a shitty way, well, now that person has won. And so both sides in this particular story and particular argument were in the wrong. And mainly that's because both sides were so entrenched in their thinking, where the bulk of their personalities are so tied up into their particular political beliefs that it's nearly impossible to hear dissenting arguments. You can't debate anymore. Remember, like back in the day, debates, whoa, those are gone out the window. You cannot have uh, you can't have a debate that ends with a handshake. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. Everything is, you're mad about everything. Everything has to be a fucking fight. Neither side takes a nanosecond to consider or even hear what the other side is saying. And that, the other side is just simply wrong. There's no way that you can be right about this, and especially when it's a relatively like clear cut thing. Like if one side is very obviously being a bag of shit, and I say that because obviously everyone that agrees when I say this person's being a bag of shit is, that happens all the time, right? No. But it got me and it got us thinking, because we went off topic, and I think I've found a comparable group to these particular dotards, and they're never wrong. Their opinion is the only one that matters. They'll never budge from their stance. Phish fans. Phish fans. I'm only mad at myself for not putting two and two together years ago, because I've had this feeling about Phish fans for a long time. Not all, just most. if you've met a Phish fan, you know um, how they feel. If you've met like a real, like a serious Phish fan, then you can literally see it, maybe even smell it. Yep, that's right. That was a terrible fish related joke because they don't wash themselves. Yep. Um, but you know that, they may not be like, deeply attached to the culture like they once were because they probably just grew up. But if you mention fish or a fish comes up, suddenly the guard goes up, the haunches on their haunches, ready to fucking fight. Maybe they even put up their dukes, you know, their dukes. Old old timey boxing, just ready to punch you in the face if you say something about fish. But then the conversation, morphs and progresses, and suddenly you're hearing about Mike Gordon's detailed bass arrangements and how the best tape show moment ever was Providence '94 when they did a fucking 35-minute jam of some Bowie song with that guitar solo you heard one time but didn't know who it was. Said it was pretty good, only for your friend to say, "Ha fucker, that was Trey Anastasio," and then you hear about it for the next fucking decade and a half. All right, Steve didn't really say "ha fucker," but he did revel. He reveled then, and he still revels now at how I said it was a good solo, even though I think Phish stinks. Caught me off guard, that fucker. It was a good solo. What can I say? It's a good solo, but the band still stinks. And so it's just so ingrained into their personalities that a lot of times, not every time, but people just don't want to be around them anymore. Years ago, many, many moons, I managed a strawberries. And when I got to this particular location, there was a Phish fan who worked at the store. And the Phish fan liked to play Phish on the loudspeaker. And said Phish fan would get very angry if you tried to change Phish at any time while they were on their shift. Now, this was just a standard hourly employee, myself, uh, big time store manager of this particular location. Made it quite clear that I was not going to be listening to Phish while I was suffering in a retail job. So, what happened to this Phish fan? Well, I changed the Phish one time when I got into the store. I made it very clear. Look, just we can't play Phish. We just can't. I lied and said it was a corporate rule. I said no, corporate doesn't let us play our own music, so we have to play the store provided compact discs with all the various newly signed talent or just new release talent, basically that they would provide us on a quarterly basis. So there are a bunch of songs that I shouldn't like, and I really don't, but I know every word to the fucking song because I heard it incessantly. Anyways, Fish guy up and quit one day. Took the fucking CD out of the thing. I said, "Dude, you can't play this." All right, cool, man. And literally just grabbed his shit and walked out the door. Quit over Fish. Not that surprising in the end. And quite frankly, I was relieved because I didn't want to have to fire this kid because he was like, I didn't want to have to write him up. Like think of that write up. Like, oh, why'd you get in trouble at work? Oh, well, I was listening to Fish. So whether it's like political or having to hear about that fucking bathtub gin song, none of it is valuable to the vast majority of the population. Nobody needs to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. So please, shut the fuck up. Tuesday was the 22nd day of February. or if you want to put it, no, that's right. But if you write it in the European style, so 22/2/22, because here in America we have to do everything backward. Anywho, big day yesterday, or Tuesday, I should say, for the numerologists, saying that because of this day, like all kinds of good shit were gonna happen if you like just manifest your thoughts. You can, make things happen, make things come true because of the date being numerically significant to some. So no, I didn't manifest anything. I don't need a special date to think of shit I want my life to become. Nor should anybody else for that reason. Plus, I was busy manifesting my fat ass working at a job that I don't particularly love. In other words, I had no time to manifest shit. Some of us live in the real world, not this metaphysical bullshit where I weave tales about supposedly magical numbers. Oh, it hasn't happened since July 4th, 1776. And you know what happened that day? Yeah, a bunch of self-righteous elitists with bad teeth and little regard for anyone not white finally got together and eventually called John Hancock a prick for not having any spatial awareness. Who fucking cares? Numerologists. It's just silly. Honestly, it's just fucking silly. I'm done with that. I'm happy to say that I have multiple voicemails to share. Multiple. Two from a friend of the show, loyal voicemail leaver, Andrew. And then a third one from another friend of the show, Donnie Washburn of The Quiet Violent. Expect new music from The Quiet Violent soon. Soon. First up, though, we have two from Andrew, so I'm going to play them one at a time. As usual, Andrew is a bit long-winded, and that's what makes them funny. All right, so check it out.
Hey Dave, this is Andrew again. I listened to this episode this past week. It was pretty good. Not just saying that because I was featured on it, but I had another updated complaint. Not that I've ever experienced this because I haven't lived in Boston, thankfully. But one of my complaints is that like the atrocity that is space saving. Like I said, I haven't experienced it firsthand, but just seeing it on like social media where people think like because they shoveled out a spot like that, I get the basic construct of that idea. Like it's like you dig it out, you earn the spot. Okay. That basically leaves you at a point where you should be upset if someone steals it. And I think it doesn't go any further than that. And the complaint I have is for people who I've seen posts where people got their spot stolen. And so theoretically they've taken the time to find another spot and then they go to their house, they print out the ordinances based on how there's like a 48-hour rule or something like that. But then they go through the trouble of printing that out and then melting chocolate as well and then pasting the melted chocolate on the person's car who stole their spot and then like using that as adhesive to put like the ordinances on the fucking car. And like I've also seen egging cars and stuff like that. It just seems a little bit like excessive to me. Even in my area, like snow emergency. Ooh, there we go. Snow emergency aside, I've had my spot stolen at my apartment complex, like 'cause there's a bar across the street, and I'm like, that's wicked annoying, but I'm never like, yo, let me fucking deface this car. Like, it just seems so childish to me, and, yeah, so I guess that's the complaint, like that, I get why people are mad and stuff, but I don't think it's like something to escalate beyond, mad. Like, if it were me living in Boston, I think I would just I live in Quincy, so like I'm pretty close and I get like the hustle and bustle and all that shit, but I'm like, why don't you just fucking go park somewhere else? Like, or shovel out your own place? Like, I feel like all of that time would take a lot less. Hey David, it's Andrew again. I guess I was going on longer than I thought I was, but yeah, I just think like, people, I don't think I would escalate to that, and I don't think if like you're a fucking rational adult, like you should be investing that much time into your parking space. Like, what is it? Like, how is it when there isn't snow? Like, just because you parked there, like you think you own that spot? Like, come on. Like, quit being a child. And anyways, another quick side bit. I just listened to this thing about the Varian Brothers High School and Black History Month. And, I guess they were like, yeah, we're trying to remind everybody about fucking Black History Month. So that's why we made fried chicken as like our recipe for this like week, like for our school lunch. And that's a whole other can of worms, but I would like to hear what you have to say about that and how stupid it is. I guess my complaint is like, like a school full of like just, pretentious white dudes. Like, how did you think that was going to go for you? Anyways, love the podcast. Keep it going. Never stop. I love you. Bye.
Bravo as always, Andrew. Holy fuck. I thought it was two different ones, and then when I listed it was the second was a continuation of the first. So two dynamite points. But the big one obviously is his space saving thing. And I'm with you in that I've never lived in Boston, so I don't know the particulars. Like Andrew, I lived in North Quincy for about 4 years, right? On a dead end road that rarely got plowed until like, a week after it fucking snowed. So I was a bit lucky there where, I would park across the street from my house, and then most of the other people had driveway access. So if I shoveled out a spot, typically I would be good with that spot for at least a couple of days. Wouldn't have to put like half a mannequin or a fucking high chair or some bullshit so that somebody didn't park there. But look, there was a time where I shoveled out a spot in front of my house, left to go to work, came back, and somebody had fucking parked there. So it's like, fuck. So I had to park at the end of the street. There was a parking lot at the end of the street. I had to park there and then walk. It wasn't that far, but still. It was annoying. But I think the overarching issue here is being such a fucking child that you need to defend your shoveled out parking space. How big of a space are we talking anyway? I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the dimensions of a car because I'm an idiot. I can't do quick math. So it's like 9 feet long. I don't know, 9 by 6 or something. I don't fucking know. Terrible with numbers. Okay, just fuck off. So you've shoveled out that 54 square foot space. You have shoveled that out, and now you're going to defend it as if it was like Castle Grayskull or something, and you're making a stand and making sure that nobody takes it by putting a high chair or an old TV or whatever bullshit. And so somebody parks there and you get all fucking pissed off. And like Andrew said, that you literally can print out the fucking ordinance and leave it on the car, which is an incredibly stupid thing to do. And it makes me wonder, all these news stories and social media things that you see, I would gather that it's all from Southie because everybody that lives in Southie literally is still a child. Not everyone, just most. So the people that, if I can have melted chocolate, eggs, shaving cream, baloney, because somebody stole your parking space. That's not yours. It's just that your labor went into removing your vehicle from that particular area. And so now you're mad. You're so mad, in fact, that as Andrew said, you're going to commit so much time and effort into doing all of these things as a means to get back, to get even, to have your revenge on this car that somebody left there. So instead of just sort of getting over it after, a few minutes of, angry, reflection, and God forbid you, I don't know, knock on a door. Hey, is this your car? Listen, man, I shoveled that space out. It'd be awesome if I could get it back just for tonight. If you want to do it to, you can call that a very passive sort of reaction, but I could also call it being an adult, where you try to solve the problem without being a fucking raging asshole, or try to solve the problem without then committing a minor felony. It's probably not a felony; it's more of a misdemeanor. When you start fucking vandalizing vehicles, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. Because if you ever get caught, if you're ever found out, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because you got to pay for the fucking car to be cleaned. Imagine you take 2 dozen eggs and put it on somebody's fucking car and it freezes. Then what? You're fucked. Baloney. Baloney will put, that's an old, Halloween prank for us suburbanites. Baloney on a car. It just leaves, a circle. Fucking eats away. I don't know if it still does or not, but it used to eat away at the fucking paint. You're fucked. But yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, you can be mad, and you're well within your rights to be upset. But at the same time, you can't stew. And as I said earlier when I was talking about politics, it's all about your reaction to the situation. You can either be a fucking raging douchebag, and spend who knows how much time plotting revenge, or you can build a bridge and get over it. Which is the right thing to do? Which is the easier thing to do? They're both the same, and it's the latter. You're going to be inconvenienced, no doubt about it. But I think it's better than the alternative, which is to then waste precious time plotting revenge. I actually wrote down revenge the other day as a topic for the show, and I can't remember why. It's bothering me. Andrew's second point about Zavarian Brothers High School in their Black History Month. You would think that the administration of a private school that's raking in who knows how much money and is based in religion, teaching religion, would be somewhat more intelligent than to put fried chicken on the menu for a week or whatever. Just grill the chicken. If you want the chicken, grill it. Why do you have to be so fucking, even if it's accidentally racist? Like, just be smart. Be fucking smart. That's it. It's not that fucking difficult. And I'm not going to go around here and say, well, Zavarian Brothers High School, racist, because I don't fucking know. I don't know. You could call a religious institution a lot of fucking things. A lot of things. And racist could be one of them. I don't know if I would put it first on the list. It might be top 5, top 10, somewhere in there. Stupid would probably go ahead of it. And in this particular instance, it's like, what are you doing? Just There are so many fucking things that could be avoided by taking 2 seconds to think them through. And that's one of them. And again, whether they meant it or not, the optics of these, especially nowadays, where the optics are fucking everything, everything. And if you're not smart enough to see that, well, then there's no hope for you. So I don't know who made that decision. I didn't really dive deep into it. I just thought it was fucking stupid when I saw it. And this story is a couple weeks old now. But it's like, fuck, man. Take a second, step back, look at what you've done, reassess the situation, and then make the applicable change. Not hard. Unless, of course, you want it to be a piece of shit, in which case you're going to take the difficult path. It's funny how, you can almost tie the two things together. Like, getting angry about your fucking parking space being snagged, or being unintentionally or intentionally racist by serving fucking fried chicken, during Black History Month. It's just a matter of taking a minute to think things through. That's all. That's it. Not difficult. Unless, of course, you're a fucking idiot, in which case you're screwed.
Dave, Donnie. I'm calling about a relevant subject that happened a couple weeks ago. I had attended my little cousin's hockey game out in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The game was North Attleboro High School versus Foxborough High School. Now, as a Mansfield High alumni for the hockey team, one thing that I was able to tune out was the crowd noise from at least the parent side. I enjoyed it from the student section for sure. It's where I focused primarily. But the parent side, I saw something interesting at this game where very engaged parent crowd, and it was interesting because there was a couple. It got chippy out there, right at the gate. It was a back and forth game out from the start, but the Foxborough team was so rattled by the North Attleboro parents that after the first period, one of the players came off the ice taunting the Foxborough parents, grabbing their crotch, flipping them off, the like. Some classics right there. But, there was also a scene where as the game, kept going, there was a scene from an old lady from the Foxborough side who had come over and started screaming at the North Attleboro parents as if they were disrespecting the goalie, which I don't know where that came out of. But then the North players are saying, hey, look, it's the North crowd that's the one that's getting everyone riled up. This Foxborough parent goes out and she tells the crowd to shut the fuck up. You drops an F-bomb, and immediately the North crowd just has at it at this lady. Now, what I'm trying to say is that I never experienced some of this, so I don't know what more embarrassing situation it could be as a player on the North Attleboro team to have to now exit the game knowing that their family could not handle themselves. Now, everyone should just, honestly just watch the game. If you're a parent, let the student section be the rowdy one. But as a parent, I couldn't, I was shocked. That's plain and simple. So I know that was a long ramble. I wanted to kind of get your take on this, and I hope you have an awesome rest of the day, Dave. Keep up the pod. Love it, as always. Donnie.
Bravo, Donnie. Thank you so much. A topic near and dear to my heart, parents. But in this particular instance, a typically well-known subset of parents, the hockey parents. If you Google hockey parent, like just hockey parents, the first 2 pages are about shitty hockey parents. Like what? The number 2 story from the New York Post. why hockey parents have become the most hysterical sports parents. Because they're all shit. I shouldn't say that. They're not all shit. That's not true. It's just that there's a handful that ruin it. As with the case for most things, there's always, a handful of people or things that ruin it for everybody else. I tried to do a little digging to see if I could find like a video of this game because I wanted to hear for myself like what the actual yelling and screaming was about, but couldn't find it. So who knows? Um, but his point is good in that it makes no fucking sense for parents to be the rowdy bunch when that's supposed to be the kids. The kids are there to be kids and be annoying and yell shit and taunt the opposing players. That's the whole point of them going to the game. It's not because they thoroughly love high school hockey, public high school hockey. It's slow. It is not that great. The ice is 9 times out of 10 terrible. And it's every fucking little podunk hockey rink is loud as hell. Like it's just unbelievably loud. So back when I was in high school, occasionally we would go to the what the hell is the name of the place in Taunton? The Moakley, I think it was the Moakley Ice Arena. For when the BR Trojans would skate and play games against a variety of old Colony League talent. And we would just taunt the other team. It was fun. It was a good time. And I don't, thinking about it, I don't remember a lot of parents being at these things. Now that I think about it, geez. I mean, I remember specifically one time there were literally 3 of us in the crowd for this particular game. Oh, man. Anyways, so, I mean, Donnie points out that obviously the one set of parents got to the other, got to the team that they were, there to root against. And you had parents yelling, dropping F-bombs and at a high school hockey game. And then, the rest of the crowd hammering said angry fan. And again, it's just it all these things sort of tie together. It's like your reaction to things and not taking a minute to sort of just mull things over. So the old lady who decided to tell everyone to shut the fuck up, had she not done that, it probably would have saved everyone a whole lot of aggravation, right? Because now you have, as he said, he's again, what's the more embarrassing situation? Is it for any of the players on the North Attleboro team and knowing that somebody in their family couldn't handle themselves, or is it, the parents themselves? I mean, I'd venture a guess that it was the players are far more embarrassed because they know full well that their parents are being fucking shitty people in front of their teammates, in front of the other parents, in front of the opposing team, in front of the opposing team's parents. And so, then you get labeled, oh, your mom is that fucking twat that was yelling at the game. What kid wants that? Nobody wants that. Don't be a twat. That's all. Chippy games are going to do that. They get the crowd riled up. But I mean, there comes a point, especially if you're a parent. But we've talked about on the show multiple times the entire lack of self-awareness amongst that particular group of people. They're not self-aware. They're very self-absorbed, and they're very clueless. So the fact that this happened at a hockey game, and here's the other thing too, the fact that it was like that it happened, and it wasn't like widely reported, just goes to show that it is so like low and minor in terms of an incident when it comes to high school hockey. There was a guy the other night who got fucking tossed from the game by the ref. I wish I could remember where the fuck that was, but it was local. And this parent got tossed from the building by the ref because he was being such a fucking piece of shit. Fucking parents. I don't get it. You know what sucks is that could be another T-shirt. I'm just gonna make a T-shirt that says "I don't get it?" question mark, or "I don't get it?" ellipsis. Because 9 times out of 10, when I'm making a complaint or telling a story or making a point, it always ends with "I just don't get it." And in this case, I just don't fucking get it. You know what time it is. It's getting close to the end of the show. Everybody's favorite time. And as it is Thursday, it is time for 3 gripes. I should do a 3 gripes sounder in the style of Pigs in Space. If you're old enough to remember Pigs in Space, it was one of the funnier bits that they did on the old Muppet Show. Pigs in Space. It was Miss Piggy and the 2 male pigs that were tertiary characters, supposedly in space, and it was a fucking riot. It really was. It was hilarious. Stupid, but hilarious. Gripe number 1: the fucking weather. So I said last week that I hate to be that guy that complains about the weather. I do. I hate that. I hate that about myself. But seriously, fuck this weather. Wednesday, it was literally 71 degrees outside of the broadcast palace. 71 degrees. That's insane. It's fucking insane. It's the end of February. 71? Apparently that's not the record, by the way, which I find weird. But the absurdity of the whole thing is laughable. Because there's going to be close to a 50-degree drop between Wednesday night and Thursday morning. 50. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's 5 to 8 inches of snow in the forecast for Friday. What? Mother Nature is out of her damn mind with this shit. I'm not really asking for much. I'm not asking for perfect weather. You know what I'm asking for? Consistency. It's February. It's supposed to be fucking cold. So it should be cold. That's it. These warm days are nothing but a giant cock tease. They shouldn't be followed by actual blue balls. You get it? Because it's so cold. Blue balls? Cock tease? No? I've never admitted to being super funny, so it was marginally clever, okay? Gripe number 2, smoke detectors. This is one that I've likely talked about before because it seems to follow me around ever since I moved out of my house for the first time as a kid. I say kid, I don't know, what was I, 22? Something like that. It took a while before I left, and then went back, and then left, and then went back, and then finally left for good. It's a vicious cycle. Terrible. But I've come to the conclusion that smoke detectors only go off between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Why is that? Like, why can't one of these things fuck up at noon when I'm already wide awake? It sucks when I, take my melatonin before bed, and then an hour or so later, I'm fucking rocked from my sleep by beep, beep, warning, warning, beep, beep. Because, our third smoke detector in that particular location of the house has decided to go off again. So I get up, I stumble around, I'm in a fucking fog, like a literal fog. because I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I hear is noise. And you know, I jump out of bed in my fucking drawers, try to get to wherever the fucking this thing is to pull it out of the goddamn ceiling. There was one time a few years ago, um, middle of the night, in this particular one just would not go off, and I was in a full on fucking panic. I was in a panic. So what do? I pick up the phone and call my wife. Now, mind you, my wife was in like, I don't know whether she wasn't home. She was on the road. I want to say she was in like Buffalo or some shit. I don't know. And I call like, I can't get these turned off. What do I do? She's like, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm like, all right, fucking goodbye. Uh, one of my more embarrassing stories that I panicked and called my wife because I couldn't figure out why the fucking smoke detectors weren't going off. Oh man. And then when you finally get it figured out, you head back to bed and it takes an hour to fall asleep because your heart is pounding from the fucking adrenaline, because when you jump up like that, you're all fucking fired up. It's like, what the fuck's going on? You can't think straight. You know, you put your pants on backwards, or you put a shirt on backwards, or you walk out with your pants on one leg or some dumb shit. But I swear to God, that's a built-in feature. It's a built-in feature on these fucking things where, there's something in it where it says, okay, once this is about to die, or if this isn't functioning properly, it's scheduled to go off at 1:15 a.m. And I will, fight to the death anybody who says otherwise, because no fucking way is that not the case. Following me around. Maybe I have like a spirit that just likes to fuck with me in my sleep occasionally. Well, haven't done that in a while. Let's set off a fucking smoke detector at 2 a.m. Fuck you, Dave. Gripe number 3. Another one that I've probably talked about before, but liking and or disliking text messages. I'm bringing it up again only partially because I'm an old dummy who can't remember shit, and because I fucking hate the liking and disliking of text messages. The whole point is that it's a conversational medium, right? Like you're having a text-based conversation with whomever you're speaking to, okay? So, in theory, if something is funny, you respond in kind. You say it's funny. Or you say, ha 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 ha, multiple times with a couple of exclamation points, because that's how people laugh. Ha 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 ha. And then there's the also marginally acceptable LOL, which, oof. If liking and disliking text messages didn't come along, I would be raging against the use of LOL. I could count on one hand how many times I've typed that in my life. LOL. Ugh. But look, this liking and disliking thing, it's an Apple thing, okay? It's an iPhone thing. And all you Apple people just constantly get off on telling the non-Apple people that you have an iPhone. And for the 8,000th time, no one fucking cares about the brand of your phone, you fucking clowns. Seriously, build a bridge, get over it, then take a fucking swan dive off the side. I was reading the other day about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo. I'm saying it wrong. Giannis Antetokounmpo. There it is. Nailed it. Got a ration of shit because he was at the All-Star game and he's watching that putrid slam dunk contest. Somehow the NBA has managed to fuck up like one of the few very entertaining things that they've ever done with this slam dunk contest. They've completely fucking botched it. And Giannis is taking pictures with his Google Pixel 6. And I'm sure part of it is because he has a massive marketing deal with Google. Fine, whatever. But you've got a bunch of people that are giving him shit because he's using this phone, because he's using this thing to take pictures. Now, if he was there with like a Canon Rebel 3 or whatever, I don't know. Whatever the Andre Agassi Canon Rebel camera. Apparently that dude, Andre Agassi, complete fucking side. This sucks that it just popped in my head. He wore a fucking piece for years. He wore a piece while he was playing. He was fucking bald, like almost his entire tennis career. He wore a fucking piece, like a mullet wig, while he was playing. That had to have been unbelievably uncomfortable. And he was good. Anyway. So if Giannis is up there taking pictures with an actual camera, people are going to shit on him because he's not using a Konica Minolta or whatever the fuck another camera brand is. I don't know. It's like, oh, did he hurt your little iPhone fifis because your favorite basketball player uses a different phone? Oh, well. Honestly, I'm being no better than all of these clowns by saying this, but fuck it. Like, enough. Stop trying to make like having a different phone a thing. Stop it. If somebody sends you a text message and it's a different color, who gives a fuck? Let it go. Again, the general overarching theme of this particular episode is to sort of take a minute, think it through. If you decide to be an asshole about somebody's phone, is that going to be good for you or bad for you? Is it going to make your life more difficult? Yes or no? The answer to those things depends on what you decide to do. So, if you want your life to be more difficult and if you want to be looked at as a prick, you'll tell the person who's texting in a different color that they're texting in a different color. Well, guess what? Now you're the asshole. Don't be that person. Stop for a second. Think. It shouldn't take more than 5 seconds. Because 9 times out of 10, your gut is telling you to do the exact opposite of whatever it is that you did. Take a second, think about it, do the right thing. Boom. The more you know. I don't know if anybody gets that joke, but I do, and I like it. That's the end of this week's program. I hope you tolerated it. If you liked it, even better. But I'm being realistic. So I hope you tolerated it. I hope you got this far in the program. If you did, congratulations and thank you. A little bit less time than usual. Overall, not a shit episode. I thought this one wasn't bad. And I hope you'll, as always, please tell your friends. Tell your friends about the show, about, how insightful and enlightening this is, and how it's the world's worst podcast. Do me a solid and tell your friends. Tell your moms. And then go to the Twitter page @ComplainsPod. Go to the Instagram page @ComplainsPod. I also have a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. I have a YouTube page, never done anything with it. I have a Twitch channel, never done anything with that. I got an email today from Spotify telling me I could do video podcasting. It's like, why would I want to do that? Who wants to watch me do this show? I don't know, probably nobody. Not the point. Not the point. I have a TikTok page @ComplainsTalk. I was playing with that the other day because I had what I thought would be a funny TikTok video. And then by the time I got through trying to like edit and add sound and all this other shit, I was like, oh fuck, I can't. I'm too old for this shit. It's not true. I'm not too old for it. I'm still technically in the demo. I'm only 43. And I'm pretty sure the demo probably ended at 35. If I 17 to 35, I don't know. I'm in a demo, right? What else do I have? I have a website, complaintsandobservations.com. There is a blog on there that I typically would post something new every Friday. I did not last Friday, and I don't think I did the Friday prior. Oof, boy. But my writing is typically as bad as the show, so what's it matter? Um, I'm basically going to use the Instagram stories to run a poll in regards to a couple of ideas, specifically first and foremost the anti-attractive people stance. I'm going to see if I can get any sort of reaction there. Because I again, I need to do a little bit more work, a little bit more brainstorming on this, because I am definitely anti-attractive people. Done with them. I have a merch store that you should check out. It is it's bonfire.com /store/complaints, but you can find it if you go to my link tree, which is in all of my social pages. Instagram, Twitter. I don't think I have it on my website. Now that I think of it, oh, that sucks. I have a nice fucking Trent Frederick T-shirt up there. I have a nice Mac Jones T-shirt up there. I have a fairly clever golf T-shirt there, and then the various show promotional show type stuff. I also have a coffee mug, which is fucking terrible. That thing is ugly as hell. It's not good. But yeah, I should make more T-shirts. I find them funny. But honestly, that's it. So again, thank you so very much for listening and for indulging me. It means a lot. It's fun. I enjoy doing it. I hope you get a laugh. I hope you've managed to maybe fall asleep. I heard that the other day. I fell asleep listening to your last episode. Oh, thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Or maybe you can listen to it while you're shoveling snow on Friday. But fuck snow. That is it. So listen, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.